All right. I am live, I believe. This is Vlog episode 8. So I started this project now, I guess, 2 months ago, where I'm just going to start each week with some form of a recap of last week. There are two things I'm trying to do. One, I just wanted to record it for the heck of it. Just sounded great. Two, I found it nice to reflect on what I did or did not accomplish last week, each week, and get a good pulse on what I've been doing. And so it's always been fun. It also forces me to keep up to date with the Where's Matt tracker, which I've been doing for a while. And anyway, it's just fun. So if you're here, let me know in the chat. I will put your comments up, but I only post these things 30 minutes above, and I don't put them on LinkedIn where I have a following. I put them on YouTube where my friends and people that have migrated over here are. Okay, let's get into what have I done last week. I'll just tail of the tape real quick first. So first off, I really didn't go anywhere again. I didn't. I did some nice, awesome weekend stuff. I've been doing some honeydews around the house, but everything I've been doing has either been presentations, education, or just straight up working for presentation preparedness. And building a new deck takes a while, but building a new deck with someone else takes even longer. And then building a deck with someone else that then gets judged by someone else then takes even longer. And so we're wrapping up RSA, and I'll go through that here in a minute. But I did still manage to eke out 5 separate presentations with various folks. I'll talk about those here in a bit. Last week, which, I mean, if you're at it, I'm at 47 presentations. We're at week, what is the end of March, into Q1, right? So it's 3 months. That's what, 12 weeks, 13, 14 weeks, whatever it is. I can't math, but whatever that might be. But so I guess it's somewhere in the 12-week range. And I don't know, that's 4-ish, I'd say, on average a week that I'm doing either a live stream in front of people. I do not count, like, anytime it's educational, like for example, I'm in working groups or other things, like I'm still presenting, but I don't consider that a live stream, if that makes sense. So or a presentation, right? It's more of an educational thing. So that's where that 25 hours of educations come in. So in general, that means I'm talking to other humans or educating other humans. Now 47 and 25, math that if you feel like it in your head, but that's just up till this point, and that doesn't show any signs of slowing down. One cool thing I had last week, though, and I'm assuming y'all can hear me. I see a dot, a green thing, and I'm by myself. It's more of a soliloquy, so I did record a whole episode, which I guess we'll talk about now. We'll start it off. Let's go through the week. So last week started with me literally streaming dead air for like I don't know, 25 minutes or something. So I deleted that episode, and then I planned on re-recording it that day. It just didn't happen on Monday, so I've already broken that do it every week on Monday that Tom kind of said and challenged me to a smidge. I say challenged. I just always like a challenge. And Tom talked about the count that he'd never missed. And I'm like, man, I'm not going to miss. I'm going to do it. Anyways, I digress. So I've already missed one. So I'll tell myself I had to do it on Wednesday. But I did technically record on Monday. I just had technical failures of my own making. So I digress. But all right. Anyways, so the first thing I had was my misrecorded stream. And then I had some Know Before You Goes for things that we're doing. Just various different things. Prep for another prep. It's another green. I was working with John Harden. I love John Harden. If you work with John Harden and it doesn't make you smile in some way, like, you're probably a broken human, just in general, I'll say. But I worked with John Harden for a little bit, got ready for the boot camp, met with some people on some software that are a community aspect of things and what they're trying to do. And it's really challenging because sometimes when you see people, and I just have an opinion. It doesn't make me right. I just have an opinion. But sometimes when you see people that have like a product that you genuinely do not think makes sense, that genuinely will not do the mission that someone has put forward, that is getting funding, that is getting driven by insurance carriers or others, and it's just genuinely not going to help. Like, it's genuinely broken. It's really hard to have those conversations with people you care about that are on a good mission, that genuinely just want to help. And I had one of those. It's not fun. I did the best to explain to them what my thoughts were, and that the problem solution in a way that was more positing questions, like perhaps maybe doing this won't maybe work the way you think it does. What do you think about the data science in that question? Like, what do you think about if the other outcome is there? And it was it was well-ish received. I think some people put blinders on, maybe self-included, not maybe, yes, definitely self-included, where you're like so committed to something you're unwilling to change. And anyways, it's been something they've been working on for 15 years and it hasn't taken off. And now It's just getting funding in a weird way. I digress. But anyways, so then I met with one of my favorite podcasts ever, Darren Mott. I love Darren. I love anyone that's been a federal civil servant or a federal servant and has worked in the cyberspace where little support for law, little support for enforcement, little penalties for things, tons and tons of like challenges in that organization, and then stepping out to try to solve an even larger and more unsolvable challenge. And so Darren Mott's one of those humans, just great to talk to, and was talking about using kill chains as a way to better your safeguards, right? And so it was around talking about taking stories of modern breaches, breaking them down into their subcomponents of what you think happened, which even if that conjecture isn't perfect, I mean, you do need to be in a bell curve of reasonability. But even if it's not perfect, it makes you think about like what safeguard probably failed for you to get here. And then you could say, maybe I need to make that better. And even if you are wrong in your conjecture as to what happened, you're going to better a safeguard, hopefully, right? As long as, again, you're within that bell curve of kind of understanding of that. But anyways, notwithstanding, had that with Darren. If you want to check that out, he just released it right now on his podcast on the Cyber Guy, BUR. And then Tara Wheeler and I got together to try to plan in coordinated time because we'd missed each other a couple of times to plan for final work on RSA. Like I started in the beginning saying, that RSA challenge is just when you're working with someone else and then another committee's judging it. And sometimes it feels like those responses are LLMs and sometimes not. So Tara and I got together and we were planning on working that afternoon. And she just decided, nope, I'm going to fly there. I'll just see you at wherever you live. And I'll join you. And that's weird for me. I don't entertain many humans at the house. I've had now three total different industry professionals at my house ever. I live a very private life. I try to where I live, and anyways, and the number of people you invite to that space increases that to to less private. Anyways, I guess I live a private public life, and and one day I'll break down the ironies of that. And I'm a big fish, small pond, so private public. Anyways, lots to go into there. We won't unpack. But anyways, Tara decided to come over. So then that afternoon, this is Monday still. We spent 2 hours doing boot camp prep for our CTF, which is going to be super fun. If you haven't registered for it in Chicago, or if you're watching this later, it won't matter. But after April 15th, it won't. But I would highly recommend coming. It's going to be fun, or I'm going to suck. Like, it's going to be one of the two. And then we did a live stream about that on Tuesday morning to talk about boot camp and invite people. I think we're at 90 something people registered. We typically want to be at 100, 110. So we're right on pace. But it'd be nice to be at 200 and be surprised for once that many people are willing to kind of get immersed and get in the technical and think about things and talk about things. Anyways, and then all of Tuesday was really boot camp prep. I did some personal CIS mapping with some external companies trying to test the logic of the CIS mapping methodology with companies that aren't in Pac State's line card. So a little bit of testing there. And then Wednesday all day was Red Queen Dynamics. Dom and I had a show on the game last week. And then security boot camp working session again, Red Queen Dynamics in the morning. So Tara came over Wednesday and Thursday, and we spent all day, and we got it done. Like, we got our deck done, and I think it's great. We met their color requirements, we met their order requirements. The only thing we didn't do, and one thing I'll laugh about, and maybe it gets me in trouble for this later, is their response back was, please try to only indicate the credentials you have that meet the audience's requirement for your talk about break glass accounts and end SMB customers. What kind of crap is that? So Tara and I both added like 6 more certs and credentials to our title in the slides. So she's like, oh, you didn't like those first 4. Let me show you 10 more. We'll see how that goes. Anyways, I digress. But it was just interesting, an ask of, don't put all your other creds up. We don't want to bore anybody with those creds. Just put the ones that are relevant. Fucking pick which one. Which one's fucking relevant? Like, what? Anyways, so that's the kind of stuff that you have to go through when you're dealing with these larger submission places, stuff where you're just like getting judged on something because somebody had to put something on paper. Like, and the reason I say LLM is you can't ask an LLM something and have it output nothing. It's going to say something needs improved. So you'll always have a certain amount of something needs improved. I'm not frustrated about this at all, I swear. I digress. Okay. Anyways, so that was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It just breaks your brain. So still, Tara and I both left just wrecked. We also spent some time talking about Red Queen Dynamics, right? I posted that on here too, because this was Red Queen +1 because she came and visited with me. Really just challenges of like, when you have, and this is an interesting topic, I think, but when you have a product that is doing something new. And there's blue ocean, there's red ocean, right? But then I think there's like cold blue ocean where you're like before a product is valuable or before it has some other legs. And when you look at any type of product, you come into this like, show me the incentive and I'll show you the outcome statement. Right. And when you're looking at a modality in which you collect evidence from end users and understand what your impact actually is a way of validating, right? And this comes back to validators that Veronica and Bob Miller at frameworkmaps.org and all of those players have come up with. Of a validator, something that proves something has happened. Then a lot of looking at the end validation of human users is proof, right? Think about in 14.x, your training is a phishing campaign, but the proof is, or training is about phishing, da, da, da. The proof is when they send the phishing test and see what they do with it, right? That's at least that's what's been asserted for the many years. And so I think this argument is that something like that, we're asking, do you know who to contact in the case of a technical emergency? If you ever had massive numbers of multi-factor authentication requests at a given time, what do you think you should do? One of four options, right? And it both trains, but also validates the end customer. So it's not as much of a training modality as it is a validating modality. Anyways, spent about 3 hours talking about some of those challenges and discussions. Um, and I'm gonna check my messages real quick. Okay, cool. Just making sure it wasn't it wasn't somebody going, "Hey, you have no audio again." I digress. It was Connor talking about our LinkedIn Live about the chain. Maybe not. Won't say too much. I digress. But anyways, so then that finishes up just Thursday. Thursday after Tara left, I got to working on joining a GTIA Trustmark working group. There's a working group with the tech degenerates over there with Henry Tim and them, where they have a working group trying to work through the Trustmark as MSPs. And so I will frequently pop in there and give my thoughts until they kick me out of the room or my link stops working, which is possible, right? Then another security bootcamp operations meeting, a framework mapping meeting for the charity. I had another bootcamp meeting with one of our premier sponsors, Sophos, to talk about how we wanted to showcase the product, get firewalls ready to go for. I'm saying too much things, for the bootcamp. But anyways, and then finished back up with a little more bootcamp work. Had a board of directors meeting for one of the charities that I'm on the board of, and kind of made it known that I really like to see that grow. Or I just have enough irons in the fire that I don't know what to do next, and I don't know if I'm going to participate continued there. We'll see. But anyways, and then not Cyberrise, by the way. So Cyberrise is where a lot of my passion is going right now, and time in the evenings at least. Okay, and then brings us to Friday. Friday, I had a dope IR game with Bob Miller. Bob Miller is a doer. I mean, that's maybe you can just save that, Bob, if you ever end up watching this clip. But Bob Miller is absolutely a doer. He just he's an integrator, right? Like if you know that concept of visionary and integrator, but he also has visionary capabilities, but he's an integrator. He gets stuff done. And one of those things has been this constant repetitive drive to beta test a product, change things, make it better. On the side of his giant MSP business that he already runs, he's now doing an IR game thing that we give away every week. Or I'm sorry, not every week. God, that might kill us. At least once a month, every last Friday of the month, which was last Friday. And there were a growing group of very seasoned professionals, intelligent humans, fun personas, people digging in, the betterment of this game needs this, it needs that, and these changes. And it's just really fun to watch that process play out. But like almost anything that I dedicate my time to, other than the fact that I get fat eating meat and such, is really around it doesn't move the needle. And it's so neat to watch people both get new things they understand, feedback things they understood better than others did, share in that way as a kind of hearts and minds tabletop exercise that was built off of largely a system that Ethan Tancredi and I came up with, which was these oscillating 2-minute periods of time of work, talk about something, or now they've shifted the time periods, but essentially read a story in persona, put them in stress and have to assign pieces, read and think and talk, put them in stress and have them assign, read them, think and talk, stress and have them assign, and frequently cutting people off and stopping their train of thought, which is very frustrating to people, in an intent to raise the stress level and make something more real and stick better as we go. And then personification and better better talk types and better adaptations, or make that even more fun. So, anyways, IR Game free if you haven't done it. IRGame.ai. I think I've given out like 12 different companies there today, and I don't think any of them are really paying me, I suppose, at this point. But anyways, I digress. Other than PAX 8, that is. And then I met in the afternoon Friday for another mind-numbing couple of hours to get some stuff done with Lawrence Cruciano, who is probably one of the more brilliant humans I get to interact with. I mean, in so many ways, like both in CIS, compliance, emotional quotient, just poise, intelligence, intellect, speed. Lawrence is a brilliant human. If you don't know Lawrence Cruciano, you should. He and I are giving a talk at RSA together about if it's nobody's responsibility, if it's somebody's, if it's no one's responsibility, if it isn't someone's responsibility, it's no one's responsibility. Wow, that took an inordinately long amount of time to come up with. I feel dumber now for having wasted an extra 7 seconds of your time, presumably. And then I finished out Friday with a little bit more boot camp work. We're really trying to make it very immersive. Like I told Kat in the car today, I was like, we could run boot camp right now, probably with everything we've done. But to make it awesome, we're going to put in another 30, 40 hours over the next few weeks between now and April 15th to try to make something new and fun and unique that teaches. And again, I like to, push the side quest options, I suppose, is what I'm doing. Anyways, so that really brought us to the end of the week. But I did want to focus on one more thing that I'm doing. And I will say that this from a FTC kind of perspective, I want to say that this is something someone has given me. I'm not paying for it. And so obviously my thoughts and statements could be colored by that. But I'm super happy. You guys want to know what's in the box? Like anybody? Like, I don't know if chat's working, if that's Darren out there, who a couple people are watching. I'm influencing twos of people right now. But I just got a shipment of 4 Exos X24 24 terabyte drives that I'm going to be putting into a 4-drive bay storage unit from 45 Professional. And I'm doing a video on my 45 Professional setup and how I'm going to be using it and what I'm going to be doing with that. But also, I'm going to be doing a video that shows off kind of like my home network methodology and what I've done, which I understand the OPSEC risks of that. And I'm making a kind of choice decision to try to share what I've done, and maybe that causes new challenges for me, but it's a bad idea. I wouldn't share things like this, so I'm going to say that as I say it. But I'm going to make a video and try to keep it as OPSEC as possible to kind of showcase how I have multiple firewalls, separated multiple WANs, no ingress ports, so enjoy that. That won't be an easy option. But the other type of things, like what could go wrong with sharing that kind of data, could be things like, now targeted phishing campaigns, or things that understand and take advantage of maybe 0 days or vulnerabilities of stuff that does exist. I'm not sharing any IP addresses or anything stupid like that, but I'll definitely be sharing architectural designs and what I've done. And it's a home environment. I don't keep any of the crown jewels here except for kind of access to all of the crown jewels, right? And so I do treat it pretty carefully, but I am building up a talk about how I use WatchGuard and Unify and 45 drives and just a whole host of other stuff in my world. I think I have 200 assets or so in the kind of what is an asset category inside my house. And so I just kind of wanted to share that was really dope. I got those drives in. I'll be getting the custom case. They have, if you haven't looked at them, they're stupid slick. They're cases. And anyways, I'm excited to get it. I'm getting a 4 bay that I'm going to build up with TrueNAS, I believe. I'm going to try out their NAS software and kind of give it an opinion, give them my technical feedback on it. But I will probably be using TrueNAS after that for that. And then I'll be using it as iSCSI, but also as NFS or as SMB storage for certain things like videos and stuff, raw footage, stuff like that. So anyways, yeah, it was a week. Finished out the weekend by doing a whole bunch of honeydews. Like I said, I'm home, and so we recently got a greenhouse, and I have now dropped 2 20-amp circuits into this greenhouse, and I'm trying to play a game of digital checkers, I suppose. It's not chess, but digital checkers of 2 heaters with variable capabilities of turning them on, some by physical thermostat, some by digital thermostat, humidification, light, temperature, all of that fun stuff, all with microcontrollers and some physical failback means. But anyways, yeah, so it's been a real nerdy weekend trying to get Kat a greenhouse that she can grow. I think she's got cabbages and peppers and carrots and all kinds of stuff, onions. I mean, I literally don't think I could run out. I think she has ghost peppers, habanero peppers, cayenne peppers. Yeah, it's a whole menagerie in there. But I've been electrifying and digitizing my greenhouse, even have it down to soil moisture measurement and watering and all of that, all digital, to be able to take it to where I can leave and travel as I do and have vegetables continue to grow, at least to some degree, with a 3 to 4 or 5 day leave it alone period. Anyways, this has been, I think, my vlog number 8. I really don't. I guess really the biggest thing is I'm excited for a couple of themes that I've been seeing, which has been that there have been so many more eyeballs on CIS as a practical means to move forward. And I know that's a little self-aggrandizing and trying to say, hey, look at this. They're starting to choose. And I could just be biased in my own kind of confirmation, but we're starting to see more and more demand for it. You see John Strand and team have a course out that I'm getting to help out with. Um, you have all kinds of people in the enterprise that have been recently digging in. I think my CIS V8.1 visuals have now stayed around the 5, 6, 700 clicks, depending on the month per month, rolling 30 average or so. So, and I don't often go out there and talk about it with a link or anything for you to click on. So it's not like that's the reason people are, I think, searching it and it's coming up in that way. But yeah. Anyways, thanks for y'all that have hung out. Again, this is just kind of me making a mind dump. The challenges of last week, like I said, plus the awesomeness of last week. I think I covered all of the 5 prezos. 1, 2, 3, a blind or a deaf one. That's right. One that is I don't have one marked, so it's probably 6, but we'll call it 5 just because I don't have it in there. But I know I did a stream on Wednesday that would have also been counted, so we'll just count the first one. Anyways, I will see you in vlog episode 9, God willing that I survive.